Okay, we are live on Facebook. Great. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I like a really Apollo, you can hear my music?
Love it, yeah, love it.
We like to start our meetings with get people in the mood while we wait, no waiting in silence. So wait for just like 2 more minutes since we are live on Facebook. Hi guys. Hi Amina. Amina, waiting for you to turn on your camera. Then I can introduce everyone and we can get started. Hello. Hi, Amina. I see we already have a couple of people online. Quite a number already. 20 people. Amina, I'm just waiting for you. Get go and then we'll get this show on the road.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining this meeting. We know it's taking your precious time away from family, from some of you are Kusimbula. We see you, we feel you. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sharifa Tumsime. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Zimba Women. Zimba Women is a tech company based in Uganda, working really to empower women. And we do this through providing BDS services, business development services to women-owned or women-led businesses, and we specifically emphasize using tech in these businesses. And that is also why crypto, why Bitcoin. We see that where the future is going is enabling cross-border payments through cryptocurrency. And that is why we really jumped on this early to get our merchants, our women. We have an e-commerce platform as well. And we see that the future. Rhoda will have questions. If you have any questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. We will take all your questions. Or in the comments for those who are watching on Facebook. We're happy to take all your questions, your comments. We'll take them after the session, or if they are really urgent, we'll address them in the session. Yeah, so that's a brief on me and Zimba, and why Zimba is really jumping on board with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, and with Luno, which is our preferred exchange, because of the reasons you'll see during the course of this session. So Amina, I am on this call with Amina and Apollo from Luno. I'll give Amina a chance to introduce herself.
Thank you very much, Sharifa. Good evening, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to this webinar about cryptocurrencies. My name is Amina Balunywa. I teach finance at MOOPS. Yeah, and I'm here to help moderate the session. Back to you, Sharifa.
Why crypto? You've not told us. What's your interest?
Oh, my interest in crypto is, why am I interested in crypto? Because I want to learn how to make money from it. And I'm trying to see the future of it, because recently, like a year back, there was a lot of talk about how China is coming up with its own cryptocurrency, and it will eventually take over the world as the #1 trading superpower, except from the US dollar. So I'm imagining, what is the future of this in Africa? Is it going to be possible for this to happen in Africa, and we stop paying dollars?
And that makes sense, because China, aside from America, is our biggest trading partner. So things can easily swing that side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, without much ado, I'd like to introduce Apollo from Luno. He'll give you a brief about who he is and about the company that he works with, and then we'll get into the session. Apollo is joining us from Nairobi, where Luno's office for East Africa is currently based. Apollo?
Thank you very much, Sharifa. Great pleasure meeting you, Amina, and everyone else in the team. Can you hear me clearly, Sharifa?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great. My name is Apollo Sande. I run Luno's business in the region. I'm a mechanical engineer by training, though I have worked most of my career in IT. And later on in about 2012, 2013, I got into the crypto space. And how I got into it was I was side hustling a little bit, trying to trade Forex. And I did this through through the financial crash. And so the power of banks, centralized institutions, so the dollar go through a flash crash, lost a bit of my portfolio. Then I just got really interested in how money works, how it sort of makes things control the world. And so I got into crypto around that time. I usually joke, you may have heard of the Bitcoin pizza story, where somebody paid about 1,000 Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas.
Yeah.
at some point. And those
Yeah.
7 Bitcoins are currently worth what?
Yeah.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Back then in, I think it was early 2014, I too, I did some part-time work for Luno in Kenya. At some point, I was getting paid 1 or 2 Bitcoins a month. But they had to pay rent, make ends meet. That time it was
I saw it all.
a Bitcoin was worth around $250.
Yeah.
So yes, I sold it all.
I was listening to a podcast while driving home today, and I was thinking, and they were talking about Bitcoin mining. And there was a time, like in 2016, 2017, I had access to servers that were not doing anything. And I thought to myself, what? I could have been mining Bitcoin. I'll be rich now, crazy rich. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yes, like they say, hindsight is 2020. But we always learn from it.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I work for an organization called Luno. Luno is a global cryptocurrency exchange that was founded in 2013 in Cape Town, South Africa. Has currently grown to over 500, a team of over 500 people in 4 continents across the world. We have served over 5 million customers since 2013, processed over $1 billion, in transactions since then. We are a little different from many exchanges because right from the get-go, we have always been pro-regulation. So part of our market entry involves building strong relationships with local regulators, local authorities, establishing a bona fide local entity, getting bank accounts, becoming a reporting institution to comply with AML, CFT rules. Just because we believe that eventually crypto is going to come mainstream. It will live side by side with traditional financial products. And so our hypothesis is that entities that pay the price of compliance much early on will stand in good stead once regulations come into place. And that's beginning to yield fruit. And in Uganda, we have solid relationships with the Bank of Uganda. We are registered with the FIA, the Financial Intelligence Authority of Uganda, as a virtual asset service provider. We're part of the local community. We have bank accounts. And we're trying to help champion even better regulations. It's not a sprint, it's a little marathon. Very briefly about Luno. So essentially, Luno provides a really high quality, very friendly to use cryptocurrency wallet, right? And with the wallet, you can store, buy, send, receive, use cryptocurrency. And our wallet even has an exchange built in, so you can convert Uganda shillings to a choice of cryptocurrencies we have, and back, right? And so we have the wallet and the exchange. In addition to that, we also provide a dedicated learning portal, because the big gap right now is quality of information that people have out there. And so we invest a lot in training crypto users. That's a bit about myself and about Luno.
Okay. Wow. I'm seeing so many questions coming in from Luno already. So let's get into it. What is Bitcoin? What is this thing? You know, here in Uganda, I don't know if you've seen, there's even a documentary about it. There's a crypto queen. We had a crypto queen here. She came and sold to us the one coin. People bought one coin. MPs, head of police, like high profile. And since then, Ugandans, our fingers were burnt. buy one coin. So now you've come with your Bitcoin. What is this? What does it mean? What is cryptocurrency?
Okay, excellent question. Allow me to share a short video. I had a presentation done, but then in just expanding the content, I saw a really, really well explained video. So we're going to watch about 12 minutes of it, and then we delve into the discussion session of this webinar. So just allow me to share my screen.
Okay, cool. Are you able to share?
Let's see.
Okay, yeah, it's, yeah.
I'm not sure what you see. Do you
we
see
can see your screen. So just play, just maximize it and then play. Yeah.
Okay, a moment.
Yeah, so we can see your screen.
You can see that translating Bitcoin into plain English.
Yeah.
Okay, very well. So I let it run for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we can dissect it.
Yeah.
And
okay, cool. Let's watch.
Before we talk about Bitcoin, I want to take a moment and talk about money. What is money exactly? At its core, money represents value. If I do some work for you, you give me money in exchange for the value I gave you. I can then use that money to get something of value from someone else in the future. Throughout history, value has taken many forms, and people have used a lot of different materials to represent money. Salt, wheat, shells, and of course, gold have all been used as a medium of exchange. However, in order for something to represent value, people have to trust that it is indeed valuable and will stay valuable long enough for them to redeem that value in the future. Up until 100 years ago or so, we always trusted in something to represent money. However, something happened along the way, and we've changed our trust model from trusting something to trusting in someone. Let me explain. Over time, people found it too cumbersome to walk around the world carrying bars of gold or other forms of money, so paper money was invented. Here's how it worked. A bank or government would offer to take possession of your bar of gold, let's say worth $1,000, and in return, that bank would give you receipt certificates, which we call bills, amounting to $1,000. Not only were these pieces of paper much easier to carry, but you could spend $1 on a cup of coffee and not have to cut your gold bar into 1,000 pieces. And if you wanted your gold back, you simply took $1,000 in bills back to the bank to redeem them for the actual form of money, in this case, that gold bar, whenever you needed. And so paper began its use as money as an instrument of practicality and convenience. However, as time progressed and due to macroeconomic changes, this bond between the paper receipt and the gold it stands for was broken. Now, to explain the path that led us away from the gold standards is extremely complex, but suffice to say that governments told their people that the government itself would be liable for the value of that paper money. Basically, we all said, let's just forget about gold and trade paper instead. So people continued to trade with receipts that are backed by nothing but the government's promise. And why did that continue to work? Well, because of trust. Even though there is no actual commodity backing paper money, people trusted the government, and that's how fiat money was created. Fiat is a Latin word that means by decree, meaning the dollars or euros or any other currency for that matter have value because the government orders it to. It's what's known as legal tender, coins or banknotes that must be accepted if offered as payment. So the value of today's money actually comes from a legal status given to it by a central authority, in this case, the government. And so the trust model has changed from trusting something to trusting someone, in this case, the government. Fiat money has two main drawbacks. One, it is centralized. You have a central authority that controls and issues it, in this case, the government or central bank. And two, it is not limited by quantity. The government or central bank can print as much as they want whenever needed and inflate the money supply on the market. The problem with printing money is that because you're flooding the market with more money, the value of each dollar drops. So your own money is worth less. When you see prices rising throughout the years, it's not necessarily that prices are rising as much as that the purchasing power of your money is dropping. You need more dollars to buy something that used to cost less. Once fiat money was in place, the move to digital money was pretty simple. We already have a central authority that issues money, so why not make money mostly digital and let that authority keep track of who owns what? Today, we mainly use credit cards, wire transfers, PayPal, and other forms of digital money. The amount of physical money in the world is almost negligible, and it's getting smaller with each year that passes. So if money today is digital, how does that even work? I mean, if I have a file that represents a dollar, what's to stop me from copying it a million times and having $1 million? This is called the double spend problem. The solution that banks use today is a centralized solution. They keep a ledger on their computer to track who owns what. Everyone has an account, and this ledger keeps a tally for each account. We all trust the bank, and the bank trusts their computer, and so the solution is centralized on this ledger in this computer. You may not know this, but there were many attempts to create alternative forms of digital currencies. However, none were successful in solving the double spend problem without a central authority. Whenever you give anyone control over the money supply, you're giving them enormous power, and this creates three major issues. The first issue is corruption. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When banks have a mandate to create money or value, they basically control the flow of value in the world, which gives them almost unlimited power. A small example of how power corrupts can be seen in the Wells Fargo scandal, where employees secretly created millions of unauthorized bank and credit card accounts in order to inflate the bank's revenue stream without their customers knowing about it for years. The second issue of a centralized system is mismanagement. If the central authority's interest isn't aligned with the people it controls, there may be a case of mismanagement of the money. For example, printing a lot of money in order to save a certain bank or institution from collapsing, as what happened in 2008. The problem with printing too much money is that it causes inflation and basically erodes the value of the citizens' money. One extreme example for this is Venezuela, where the government has printed so much money and the value of it has dropped so much that people are no longer counting money, but are weighing it instead. The last issue is control. You are basically giving away all control of your money to the government or bank. At any point in time, the government can decide to freeze your account and deny you access to your funds. Even if you use only cold hard cash, the government can cancel the legal status of your currency, as was done in India a few years back. This was the state of things until 2009. Creating an alternative to the current monetary system seemed like a lost cause, but then everything changed. In October of 2008, a document was published online by a guy calling himself Satoshi Nakamoto. The document, also called a white paper, suggested a way of creating a system for a decentralized currency called Bitcoin. This system claimed to create digital money that solves the double spend problem without the need for a central authority. At its core, Bitcoin is a transparent ledger without a central authority. But what does this confusing phrase even really mean? Well, let's compare Bitcoin to the bank. Since most money today is already digital, the bank basically manages its own ledger of balances and transactions. However, the bank's ledger is not transparent and it's stored on the bank's main computer. You can't sneak a peek into the bank's ledger, and only the bank has complete control over it. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is a transparent ledger. At any point in time, I can sneak a peek into the ledger and see all of the transactions and balances that are taking place. The only thing you can't figure out is who owns these balances and who is behind each transaction. This means Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous. Everything is open, transparent, and trackable, but you still can't tell who's sending what to whom. Let's explain this with an example. You can see on your screen certain rows from Bitcoin's ledger. We can see that a certain Bitcoin address sent 10,000 Bitcoins to another Bitcoin address in May of 2010. This specific transaction is the first purchase that was ever made with Bitcoin, and it was used to buy 2 pizzas by a guy named Laszlo. Laszlo published a post back in 2010 asking for someone to sell him 2 pizzas in exchange for 10,000 Bitcoins. Well, someone did, and now the price of these 2 pizzas is worth well over $100 million today. Bitcoin is also decentralized. There's no one computer that holds the ledger. With Bitcoin, every computer that participates in the system is also keeping a copy of the ledger, also known as the blockchain. So if you want to take down the system or hack the ledger, you'll have to take down thousands of computers which are keeping a copy and constantly updating it. Like most money today, Bitcoin is also digital. This means there's nothing physical that you can touch in Bitcoin. There are no actual coins. There are only rows of transactions and balances. When you own Bitcoin, it means that you own the right to access a specific Bitcoin address record in the ledger and send funds from it to a different address. So what does all of this mean? Why is Bitcoin such big news? Well, for the first time since digital money came into existence, we now have an alternative to the current system. Bitcoin is a form of money that no government or bank can control. Think about the time before the internet, how centralized the flow of information was. Basically, if you wanted information, you could get it from a few major players like the New York Times, the Washington Post, and others like them. Today, thanks to the internet, information is decentralized and you can communicate and consume knowledge from around the world with the click of a button. Bitcoin is the internet of money, and it's offering a decentralized solution to money. Bitcoin has several advantages over the current system. First, it gives you complete control over your money. With Bitcoin, you and you alone can access your funds. How you actually do this will be explained in a later video. No government or bank can decide to freeze your account or confiscate your holdings. Bitcoin also cuts a lot of the middlemen from the process of transferring money. This means that in many cases, Bitcoin is cheaper to use than traditional wire transfers or money orders. Also, unlike fiat currencies, Bitcoin was designed to be digital by nature. This means you can add additional layers of programming on top of it and turn it into smart money, but more on that in later videos. Finally, Bitcoin opens up digital commerce to 2.5 billion people around the world who don't have access to the current banking system. These people are unbanked or underbanked because of where they live and the reality that they've been born into. However, today, with a mobile phone and a click of a button, they can start trading using Bitcoin. No permission needed. Today, there are several merchants online and...
Okay. I shall stop the share. Hello, are we all still there? Hello?
Still muted, yes.
Hello, are we all still there?
We're still here. So
okay, great.
That was a good explainer. But it has still a lot to unpack. So let me give you the honors.
Yes, absolutely. So in brief, what the gentleman, I really like the way he speaks very, very fluently, very, very clearly. In essence, he was just saying Bitcoin is a computer program that securely records an ongoing chain of transactions between members of a network. That's essentially it, right? Now, I know the next section has questions and answers, which continues a little further into the video that we've watched. So the first question that came through was, what is the difference between Bitcoin and blockchain? So we have learned from the video that this gentleman called Satoshi Nakamoto created a technology that allowed the creation of trustworthy digital money without using a central entity. So this technology that runs this decentralized ledger is what we call blockchain. So Bitcoin is a use case of blockchain technology. And it's called blockchain technology because it is essentially transactions that are packed into a block of transactions that are processed or verified together at a certain amount of time. And then that block moves on and another block of transactions is created, and that block moves on. And after a while, you have a block of chains, or the blockchain. But essentially, it is just a decentralized ledger. Bitcoin is an application of this decentralized ledger, and there are many other applications, some of which are thought to have even more value than Bitcoin in the future. Sharifa? Sharifa?
Melissa has to unmute me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so I understand. So there's the blockchain, then there's Bitcoin,
Yes.
so to speak. Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Amina, you had a lot of questions before. Would you like to interject from the video and then from Apollo's explainer?
Well, basically, all I can just say is blockchain and Bitcoin. Bitcoin, what Apollo just said, Bitcoin is like a product of blockchain, so people shouldn't get it confused. And blockchain can help with also like smart contracts and all and things like that. Anything that you don't want changed, because you know they always say the history lies in the person who has the power. Like that's the person who writes the history. So blockchain will be useful for these transactions and maybe smart contracts. So Bitcoin is just, you go and mine it, you go and solve a pair of some math questions on the chain, and then you get a coin if you like solve it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure all of us somehow are getting it, and yeah. Okay, so Apollo, so how do we get this Bitcoin? And how does Luno come into play?
Okay, so that's excellent. The easiest way to get Bitcoin right now is to buy it from somebody who has it, right? And eventually, so you could buy, or you could, essentially trade your Uganda shillings for Bitcoin, and there are many platforms in Uganda, including Luno. And eventually, everyone who buys Bitcoin or sells Bitcoin has essentially bought it from these people we call miners, who essentially are charged with validating and entering records in this ledger, right? And because of the work they do to create a verifiable ledger, the system generates new Bitcoins, which they then sell down the chain to eventually what we can buy. So you could trade your shillings for Bitcoin. You could mine Bitcoin. Then you could also earn Bitcoin. Right now, the internet is replete with opportunities for anybody who digs deep enough in the blockchain space. I've seen a lot of people in Africa jumping in just to support communities of various blockchains and blockchain products to develop. They need affiliates to help market their products. They need people to manage their online forums. They need software developers to develop products or test the various products they have. There's immense need for writers, people who can write quality blog articles that these various different blockchains require, right? So you could buy Bitcoin, you could mine Bitcoin, or you could earn Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So Luno is essentially an intermediary that makes it safe and easy to use Bitcoin, right, and various cryptocurrencies. When preparing for this call, I asked Sharifa how many people would be able to explain what Bitcoin is if asked, right? Instead of explaining what it does. It's growing rapidly.
Yeah.
Money to be had, or it can be hacked easily. Just to describe it at
Yeah.
its core, right?
Mm.
Sorry, I've lost my train of thought, Sharifa. Come again,
You asked, and I was saying, let's say, it's so funny. The best explainer that I got from Bitcoin was actually from our president. I don't know who explained it to him, but whoever did a very good job, because when he was explaining it to us at the crypto, we had a cryptocurrency, the Africa Blockchain Conference at the Serena. So, and he was explaining, he started from money, the basics of money, how in Africa we started with cowrie shells. No, we started with barter trade, exchanging cows for mirrors and slave trade and all of that. And then we started using cowrie shells after the barter trade. And then there was a currency way before I was born, that was called the WAF. It was like a coin with a hole in the middle. So that is what they were using. Then we went to fiat, which is government centrally controlled. And so now there's now a digital currency. Like, it was a very good flow from barter trade to now what we're using. So Bitcoin basically is currency. It's a unit of trade, just that it is not controlled by anyone. It's dependent on market forces. And right now, the price is so high because the market really demands it, and because there's limited supply of it. You didn't mention that there's only 21 million coins ever. There will never be any. It's not like fiat. It's not like the Uganda shilling where we print more. It's not like the dollar where the Federal Reserve prints dollars. It's been printing so many in this COVID time. It's actually leading to an inflation right now. Bitcoin is deflationary. There will only ever be 20 million coins. And it's currently a currency, but from the way things are looking, it will end up being sort of like, what are they calling, equivalent to gold, a store of value, because then it will be too heavy to be traded as a currency. Though there's a country, El Salvador, that's using it as a currency. They're actually using Bitcoin. They go to McDonald's to buy coffee at Starbucks, and there are Bitcoin ATMs. They're using it to transfer money. I personally have sent Bitcoin to someone in Nigeria, and it was fast, like instantly. I said, I was at my desk, I sent the person, they got the money within seconds. And I was on Luno, and they were using a BeNice account. Funny enough, it was cross wallet. So it's not like I have to go to MoneyGram, then they have to look for MoneyGram in Nigeria. No, it's just you have an address here, they have an address wherever they are, instant transfer. That's how Bitcoin works.
Yes, I like Sharifa. I like the way you have looked at the evolution of technology. We've all seen how technology changes everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything. Technology is constantly improving. So one question would be then, why wouldn't the technology upon which money is issued improve, right? If there's better technology to issue money, why not? I noticed 2 days ago, MoneyGram announced that they will be supporting US dollar-backed cryptocurrency called USDC for remittances and e-commerce payments. So we're getting major players on board. But generally, this is my bigger picture, and this is what really excites me about Bitcoin, and crypto, and blockchain, right? So the world has moved on. We're now digital. We are globally connected. We have seen cases of people in Africa. Kenya is notorious for this, doing assignments for people in the US to make some money, right? Essentially, this connectivity of the internet has liberated the most valuable resource on earth, which is the human mind, right? The human mind has created everything that is not natural, right? But the form of exchanging value, exchanging the product of mind, has been limited, right? A few years ago, to get money from the UK, would take maybe a day or two through Western Union, and then I have to pay this crazy amount of fees. And when you look at it, it is just information moving through. You can't really quantify what is this charge I am paying for, right? So through this liberation that internet has created, people can collaborate across the internet to create value, right? People could be collaborating to create value worth millions of dollars, or it could be me, I have packed a couple of plantains worth $20 because a friend of mine in London wants some plantains, right? Now, how much will it cost me to receive that $20 for my plantains, right? Or it could be somebody who wants me to do some little proofreading. Maybe they've written a blog article and they want someone to translate it to English. So they put it up on their website and make it easily accessible for someone who just wants to listen to an audio file. And that job will cost $5, right? But how do you transact $5 overseas for value someone has taken maybe 20 minutes to create, to just read that article, right? So the current format of money inhibits a lot of not just the big end, but even what we call the long tail collaborations, right? And so we see blockchain essentially and crypto essentially acting as a lubricant for global exchange of value, right? And as you're beginning to see, right now we are in an NFT craze. NFT is essentially, a blockchain-backed ownership title that can be shared among many other people. And that is going to massively open up intellectual capital, right? Because your work of art is intellectual capital. Patents, intellectual property, all those are intellectual capital. Your ability, say I am in Kenya and I am willing to pay Sharifa $1 per introduction to certain customers for my website, right? And if she gets me 3 customers, how can I, with current format of money, send her $3 across, right? We're not going to be able to transact because it'll cost me a lot more to send that $3 across. So this is the liberation that I see cryptocurrency providing. And that's why I'm very excited about it.
Okay. I can tell that you're very excited about it. So the next question. So we have a good understanding of what crypto is. So what brought, I am sure, 99% of the people here, how do I make money off this crypto? I've understood the utility, I can send it, I can use it to purchase items. But aside from that, people are making millions out of this. How do we make money from crypto? And how can Luno help us in particular make money from crypto?
Do you see that slide?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
And so that's how Bitcoin has performed against those other 2 assets, right? You can see that.
Versus gold and versus, for those who are uninitiated, the S&P 500 is a list of the top 500 firms in the US listed on the stock exchange.
All right, so we're talking about what? Almost 400,000% improvement, rather appreciation. But then this happens as utility of the cryptocurrency matures. People see, initially you had a lot of speculation activity driving the price hikes in cryptocurrency. But then we appreciate the speculation because it creates liquidity. It makes it easy to convert, to buy and sell with other forms of money, right? So one big way that people have used to profit from price appreciation of cryptocurrency is through speculation. You look at the markets, take a hypothesis about where it is going to go. And then there's also investing, where you look at, okay, so this cryptocurrency thing, whether it's Bitcoin or another one, it's likely to make remittances much cheaper.
Yeah.
What is the global value of the remittance market? What if 10% of the global remittance market happens via Bitcoin, right? What price will Bitcoin shoot to, right, to match the demand at that point, right? So people look at this at these various scenarios and do speculation, investing. Then the other bit that I am especially passionate about is actually developing solutions, because Bitcoin crypto is a lot more than speculation, and it's even more than just investing, right? As Amina mentioned, you have smart contracts, which are sort of self-enforcing agreements that can happen between various parties and are extremely flexible, right? And the potential for that is huge, right? It can allow many people. I usually give a case. You could go into a low-income neighborhood in Uganda, where people cannot afford really decent daycare and kindergarten, right? And for those who are parents, you know how you really want your kids to be in a really good environment, right? But everybody has a little money, somebody has a little land, but these people are not able to quickly come together, form an agreement, and start up this kindergarten that they benefit from, right? And it's easy to what we call tokenize such assets, such solutions, right? You have many people contribute towards it, and they share from the fees that come in, right? And you could do the same with boreholes. So if you do tokenized boreholes, right, and put them all over Uganda, because you've tokenized it, you can sell, little fractions of those boreholes to people all over the world. People are investing. There's a lot of liquidity moving into crypto, right? So you could tokenize, so you could solve real world problems with it, right? But then that requires Amina's students get an understanding of crypto, and then they know, because we are business students, we can do the modeling, we can make financial sense, right? But because we also in Makerere University, and there's a faculty of computer science, right? Let's get our roommates and our friends who are computer programmers and tell them, hey, there is this business opportunity that can be best executed with this blockchain technology, right? I will be the business brain behind this. Can you do smart contracts for this? Can you do apps for this, right? And you go out and you find, you've seen Google mentioned, I think 2 days ago, they're about to pump $1 billion worth of VC into Africa over the next 5 years. The world is awash with capital for innovative blockchain-based businesses. You know the way investors really move as a herd, right? This is the season. So everybody wants a piece of that space, right? So the market is awash with opportunity. Going through this third level of profiting, where you develop solutions, takes a lot more work, but then, work has to be done, right? So there's a lot of opportunities. So you can speculate, you can trade, you can invest, you can develop solutions, and then you can also support communities. I had talked about supporting communities earlier, right? And a platform like Luno makes it easy to just learn about, buy, sell, store your cryptocurrency as you use it, however you like.
Okay. I'm sure Amina has a lot to say on that. Amina? Melissa, you've muted Amina.
Hi, so I wanted to ask Apollo, how does someone on this call on to Luno to start trading? What are your fees? What are your requirements? Open one. Yeah, in that regard, because I'm sure people know, most people in it are in it through investing, because if you don't have the knowledge, it's very hard for you to speculate, for you to make it active income. So what is Luno doing? Or how can they access Luno for them to start trading? What is the minimum they can put in?
All right. All right. Excellent. I get you, Amina, and thanks a lot for that question. Our website is www.luno.com. Luno Technology Uganda Limited is a bona fide Uganda company, right? You just go to that website, you sign up the way you do on other sites, and then you give us a little information about yourself. That is through our KYC. Just submit your ID. We do a little verification. After that, your account is created. You deposit Uganda shillings through our Stanbic account. And by the end of this year, we're going to have mobile money. And once you have your Uganda shillings on our platform, if you know what to do, you can begin buying crypto immediately. There is a small variety to choose from. And then there's also a massive education section that you can learn from. And then we also have an online, a Telegram community where you can interact with other customers, and we provide a bit of guidance and a bit of support. I just rushed through your question just for the sake of time. However, after this, Sharifa is going to send you, everybody in here is going to get $3 worth of Bitcoin from Luno. Sharifa is going to distribute this. And in the email that provides you the instructions on how to retrieve your $3 worth of Bitcoin, I will outline steps on how to get started with Luno and how to join our Telegram group. It's a quick summary.
Okay, thank you, Apollo. Amina still has questions.
Yeah, because with all you're trying to make income and everything, passive investment includes risk anyway.
Yes.
All investments include risk, involve risk. So what is the risk return profile of Bitcoin? I'm sure people would want to know. Is it high risk, high return, low risk, low return? And what are the type of risks that you think that are involved in buying or investing in Bitcoin?
Okay, great question again. So right now, because Bitcoin is still young, the market is still trying to ballpark its value. The very high Bitcoin. Bitcoin is probably more volatile than many other asset classes, right? So right now it is high risk, but as we all know, the more information and the more knowledge you have, the better you can have a good return risk profile. That's why we really emphasize learning, right? And if you go in and you're just starting out, I ask that you use what you call beer money. Essentially, money you would use to buy a Nile somewhere. You can use that to test the market with, and as you get more information, you can put in a lot. You can put in a little more money. So don't risk what you cannot afford to lose if you're just starting out. And as you build your confidence, you can put in more. Right?
Apollo, I'd like to share the screen so that I took a little video of my transactions so that the people only on this live will be able to see.
All right, so, thanks so much. We have two people with hands raised.
Okay. So that's, if you can see, those are my transactions. My account is DFCU Bank. So that's, you can see the amounts that I've been doing for the last 3, 4, 5 months. So I started with 50,000 because, like Apollo said, I was like, let me put my money and eat it from there. These things, they crash anytime. So I put 50, got a little confident and good enough when I was entering in. At that time, I think it was 33,000. And then, you know, luckily it started going up. So I kept buying more and then hit an all-time high. And I made a huge chunk of profit on that. Then took it out because I was like, this thing's up and down, up and down. I'm also a speculator. But I understand the utility of it because from this same account, I was able to send the money that I told you that I sent to Nigeria. I did it from this same account. And it's something that we want to roll out to the rest of the women, the merchants that are signed up with Zimba Women. And it's something that we are going to add to our e-commerce portal. I don't know if Luno does something like that. If you have plugins that we can accept so that we can accept crypto, Bitcoin or Ethereum, as payment on our e-commerce website, because this is something already so many, in so many jurisdictions globally, people have access to this and it's easier for them to pay as opposed to using, you know, a bank transfer, cards. Right now, I don't know if any of you are aware of this. Currently, Uganda is on a gray list. So we are under increased monitoring for money laundering. So that means, I don't know if many of you have faced this problem. I have personally. There are stores that right now are not accepting cards from Uganda. So you can't buy, let's say, from Bloomingdale's. You can't use your Visa card that's out of Uganda to buy from these stores or to pay for certain services abroad. Now imagine if these services accepted cryptocurrency. You wouldn't have, because it's jurisdictionless. No one government can say, I've banned, you know, this country from trading with me. That's a very good way of, you know, using Bitcoin. Amina, do you have anything to interject?
The only thing, I think what's left is one more question to Apollo, because he mentioned that he was in talks with BOU in regard with the crypto regulation and all, but on their website, I saw something that says they're also using it to transact. So how are you planning, or how have you done so to transact in Uganda where it's not a legal tender? What are you doing about this?
I think the current status of Bitcoin in like what 99% of the markets where it exists is that it is not formally recognized as legal tender. It is just recognized as an asset, something that you buy because you want to, the way you buy land, the way you buy gold, the way you buy all dollars. That is the current status. But then, and so almost all central banks around the world have issued that same thing. They issue a cautionary notice. Remember, the regulator's first mandate is consumer protection. So they will not go ahead and endorse something until they completely understand it, have done their pilots. They are completely okay with it, and that is quite okay. But most importantly, it is not a ban, right? So you have cautionary statements issued everywhere, but not an outright ban, which is not illegal. So you can buy, store, trade, use your cryptocurrency the way you wish. I just want to note that with the recent, I think it was last year, the year before, a change in, I think, Uganda's payment system, and the Financial Intelligence Authority now recognizes virtual asset service providers like cryptocurrency exchanges, invites us to register as reporting institutions, right? And so we are registered. That means there is some form of recognition without there being any explicit regulation, as is the situation in many other countries. Sharifa, there's two guys who've held their hands
questions
up for very long.
There's Kevin Dimension.
And respect everyone's time.
Yeah, okay, let's go into
Thank you, Sharifa. My question to Apollo is small. I need to ask Apollo why it has been hard, actually, not just hard, but impossible to buy Bitcoin using Luno, because they are saying that there is, a liquidity issue in Uganda. I've been on Luno for over a year, but for the past about 2, 3, 4 months, I've failed to buy Bitcoin using Luno. I'll just read for you the email that they sent me just about 10 days ago, that we are facing a temporary issue with fulfilling our instant buy/sell orders in Uganda. This is due to low liquidity, the crypto demand versus the supply quantity available on the Uganda exchange. Regrettably, there is no quick fix for increasing liquidity. And now they are trying to tell me that I can use, exchange, which I am not comfortable with, like how we used to easily buy a few months back. So is there a solution to this as quick as possible?
Yes, thanks a lot for that very big question. Actually, there are two little problems. There's a small issue that I saw has been fixed today, so I don't expect more of those errors coming up. And then also there was a little imbalance between buying and selling on the exchange. We've still not yet done a proper full launch, just because we are trying to find a proper product market fit. To be very explicit, a lot of Ugandans prefer to use mobile money to access exchanges, and they can do this on P2P exchanges and a few other exchanges. You'll notice Luno currently only does bank. So unfortunately, that has made it a lot more difficult for us to get what we call market makers, people who are already buying and selling on the exchange, often just to make a little profit margin, which affects liquidity, essentially the amount of Bitcoin available for sale in this very specific situation on the exchange. But we have started some promo. We're getting more market makers on board. We're actually rewarding people to supply or sell Bitcoins on the exchange, right? Now, when you buy crypto through the wallet, we have a little bit of software that fulfills your order on the through orders available on the exchange. So that instant function you're talking about actually gets orders from the exchange. So if there's few people buying or selling on the exchange, this little piece of software in the wallet will have difficulty. But I believe that problem is behind us now. And in the next 1-2 weeks at most, this situation will be in the past, and we'll go back to where we were before. So thank you for your patience.
Yeah. But also that goes to show no one is really selling their Bitcoin. You have to buy it from miners. Most people, all the people I know who are were major traders right now are holding onto it for dear life because there's speculation that it will hit 100 by the end of the year. So they're like, no, let's wait. Yeah.
We could have one last question from Miracle.
There's a question from Miracle. Miracle? Melissa, please. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Apollo, for the presentation. I just have one question. Does Luno, is there a platform for partnerships with Luno? For example, my company is into blockchain education. So we are offering free education to Africans in rural areas, in towns. I am currently in South Africa, but I'm a Zimbabwean. So does Luno offer that avenue whereby, let's say, when I go to the rural areas, I can probably go with your banners and say to people, listen, you can buy this from Luno, and this is how they work. So is there that avenue where we can partner, where I can, when I go to teach people, then I have either one guy from Luno, or I have a banner from Luno, or I have a pamphlet from Luno, etc., etc. Thank you.
Thank you,
thanks for that good question. Most definitely. Today's webinar was organized by Zimba Women, courtesy of Sharifa. We are in partnership with Zimba Women. They've produced some really beautiful face masks according to standard provided by Uganda Ministry of Health. And we'll be having a few more, a lot more similar webinars and other activities with Zimba women. And if you can provide value in a different market segment, we're definitely open to chat. So reach out to me. I'm not sure if you know how to reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to I'll be happy to chat. I also look forward to having similar partnership with Amina and a few others. So we're open to partnerships.
Okay. So I'm looking through the comments. There are so many questions. Melissa. So they said
we could do maybe two more burning questions and at 15 past, just respect everyone's time.
Yeah. How is the trade in Bitcoin different from the notorious pyramid schemes?
Okay, excellent. So pyramid scheme essentially is pyramid schemes don't create value. Essentially, they depend on income from new recruits to pay off, to handsomely pay off the people who recruited them, while also paying the founders handsomely. And at some point, people don't see value coming in. You have few more recruits coming in, and the whole business model is totally broken and just sink, right? So this guys just tell you, go out, sell, recruit people, give you, I don't know how many legs of recruits. Okay. That's how they essentially but crypto is a product. Sorry, crypto is a product with utility. Right now, it is just going through a diffusion phase, meaning an adoption phase. So it is heavily driven by speculators for the moment. Right now. But that is changing. So you have a product with utility that's even being adopted by institutions all over the world. As Sheriff has mentioned, even some governments beginning to look at it twice. We're actually seeing the basis of issuance of money moving to blockchain technologies, CBDCs, right? So we have fundamentally changing technology, and we have utility behind it. That's a lot more different than pyramid schemes.
Okay. Oh, wow. So Bitcoin is definitely not a pyramid scheme, but you have to be aware because you can be scammed. It's just like with money. There are scammers everywhere. So
yes. I mean, that's sorry, Sheriff, that's a good point. Let's jump quickly before our last question. So learning about crypto, kindly take your time to learn. That's why I even emphasize to the little amount of money if you get onto Luno, do to go for those people who are promising to double your money overnight or to trade for you. Do not send them your Bitcoin. I have warned people, and they have gone around and still sent money there and have gotten scammed. Look, the price of crypto is shooting up as utility is evidenced. And so there's many people who are after your crypto. Take your time. It's better you lose a big just because you're learning, lose your just because some. Please be careful. Avoid the scammers. Learn for yourself and trade for yourself.
Yeah, I like telling people it's much like buying land here. You do research, you talk to the LCs, you go visit the site, in a different car, then you pay in installments, pay 1 million and see if that, check with lands, check. So do your due diligence. Even if you're buying from Luno, still do your due diligence. I've shown you my records. I started with 50K because that's the amount I was comfortable losing. Then I said, okay, this works. Their customer support works. Let me try a little bit more, 200, like that. You don't just throw in all the money because you hear, oh, it's going to reach 100K. Then you go and get your 50 million and put there. No. That's not how to go about it. Yeah. So there's a final question. Someone asked, may we have an insight into how Luno decides on coins to be added on its exchange? These are people who want to buy Dogecoin.
All right. Great. That's a fair question. I will admit, Luno has a much smaller variety of coins than you'll get on other markets, but then that will change soon, and it's work in progress. However, from the very start, we decided to be a values-based company. So just like I'd mentioned earlier, we are also very, very pro-regulation. We have very strong regulator engagements. In many markets, a lot of exchanges have gotten into trouble with law enforcement and regulators for offering cryptocurrencies that are really just securities, right? We have seen the problems Binance has had all over the world, right, with regulators. That is not Luno. That's not the direction that we're taking. So we've been very selective in what we bring into the market. Does it have value? Does it have credible founders behind it? Does it have ample liquidity so as not to give you messed up trades? Is it something that will be long-term? So that has been part of the criteria we have been using. But that said, we are going to open up more options shortly.
Okay, I think we've overshot. Definitely, guys, we'll have more webinars and we'll tackle the different sectors. We'll have one where it's specifically just Luno, how to onboard, because I'm seeing that's a key question. Many people are asking how much money to start with. So we'll have a session that's just Luno, how to get on, how to trade, and something like that. Then we'll have a session on just security, a session on the different types of crypto. So we'll have so many webinars. Definitely in partnership with Amina, but yes, I'm seeing because 1 hour is really a short period of time. So Amina, parting short. Amina? Melissa, please unmute Amina.
So coming in from the personal finance side is that if you really want to make money from Bitcoin, or I opened up an account with Luno today, I think it's legit, you should do it, but only invest what you're capable, what you want to lose, I think. Yeah.
What you're comfortable.
Only invest what you can afford to lose, because that's how investments are. And seek information. That's because Luno and we are here talking about it. You may not be satisfied. Get YouTube videos, seek information, and invest for that one. You'll get some value out of it.
Apollo, parting shot.
Thanks a lot. I really like the way Amina has summarized it. As you're starting out, just put in what you can afford to lose. I mean, we're losing money every single day. You'll go out and party and spend $20 today, right? Why not put that $20 in crypto? And once you have your money in there, you will want to see how it is performing, and it'll be your motivation to go get more information, to learn more. So, you can make better informed decisions, right? So yes, that's a good start. Otherwise, we are committed to providing really efficient service in Uganda. We have had a little rough patch starting out. Mobile money is coming on board. New coins will come on board in good time. We're a local company. We have very responsive customer service. We have an active Telegram community. We are happy to partner locally with any entities that will give us exposure to the market. And most importantly, support our agenda to provide education. We believe education is very key to mass adoption. And finally, we make sure you redeem your Bitcoin, right? That
Yeah.
should be an incentive to open your account, go through
Yeah.
the KYC.
Yeah.
Yes, and cash in your Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll be sending emails to everyone with your Bitcoin. Most likely next week. Yeah. So open your accounts. That's a good way to start. So when you see the money, you can, and that's actually what I did. I put in the 50K. I bought Bitcoin, sold the Bitcoin, removed it. Then I saw that the whole cycle, I had to make sure that the whole circle completes from me putting money and me removing money. Then I was like, okay, this thing works. I started putting. So that's what I recommend. Open the account, buy the Bitcoin, try and withdraw. And then when it works, you'll be motivated. And the fact that you can get notifications, so many things. Yeah, parting shot from me. I'm excited to be with Luno on this journey. I've been their customer. I've worked with them. I like them. I like that they have good customer support. I really hate when customer support is a big issue for me. It's especially dealing with money. You know, you put a lot of money and then you're calling. The line is not going through. The emails are not being responded to. You can freak out. But yeah, and I encourage all of you to join Africa as a whole. We've been locked out of the global economy for so long. And I feel and I believe that crypto is our way in, because not only are we going to be getting access to Bitcoin, there's tokenized share. People are doing things like tokenized share. We can buy Apple stocks through crypto, things like that. So this is our chance to participate in the global economy. And I want us to take as many young Africans as we can, and as many young African women. It's our chance to shine. Let's do this. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Thank you for attending the webinar. The recording is on our Facebook, and we're going to place it on our YouTube channel as well, and we'll share the link to everyone. We are keeping all the emails. We have the emails of the people who have registered. Yeah, have a lovely evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.